This meeting is being recorded.
Well, hello and welcome. This is the Monday night team call, and I'm Robert Arthur here in Granbury. Our normal co-host, our beautiful, vivacious, bigger than life, Miss Jill Berth is spending needed and precious time with her mom, Norma. So ongoing prayers for her mom. So how many of you love Jill? Raise both hands or both feet, whatever you can do. Yeah, she is the epitome of servant leadership, isn't she? So none of us would be here without Jill and her spreading love and letting us know about these beautiful answers here with Zallevo. And tonight we have a special call lined up. We have one of our awesome leaders, speaking of powerful ladies, Miss Heidi Grazzini up in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area of Minnesota. Is that right? Minnesota? Am I saying it right?
You said it perfect.
She'll be interviewing Kjersti in a moment. So what's in store? Again, we're going to be bringing Heidi on, again, who will be interviewing Kjersti tonight. The topic, we titled it, Kjersti titled it, Why Diets Don't Work. Let's listen in and learn why diets and the dieting culture is failing us. Discover how a simple change in focus leads to a strong, healthy, and lean body. Let's fix this darn broken model. So Kjersti's going to do a deep dive into this subject. And is it a needed subject, guys, to hear this and get the word out? Is it just needed in our backyards, or it's global? It's definitely around the planet, isn't it? And so also after the call, please, we definitely will have a Q&A at the end of the session. So ideally put your questions in the chat, and Heidi and I will be checking that, as well as we'll have our Q&A session. We'll have some updates and announcements as well at the end of the call, and we will go from there. So again, the leader, Miss Platinum Leader, who'll be interviewing Kjersti, is again a beautiful mom. She's been with us a number of months now, and she's on a mission. And we've done so many calls now, from the corporate level to the team level. There's a upcoming tool coming out. Again, Heidi has made a major impact on this company and this community. And Heidi, whenever we call and say, can you do this or that, or show up for that? And the answer is, yes, I'm in. And she's the epitome, again, of a servant leader. And again, driving force is to make a major difference. First of all, on her loved ones. She's a woman of faith, which I love. And again, she's so authentic and real. So welcome, Miss Heidi.
Thank you, Robert. I received that and appreciate that very much. It's very easy to show up as a servant leader when you're with the likes of people like this every single day. So it's my honor to be here tonight and to be interviewing Kjersti, and on this topic of all things. So I just want to say hello, and I want to welcome everyone to our amazing Wellness Warrior Monday. We have this call every Monday night. We always pick, very current and I think, needed topics that are of interest to just about anybody out there if you're interested in living a healthy lifestyle and, just being as healthy and vivacious and just living a long life. So with that, if you're new to this group, I just want to welcome you and say thank you for tuning in. We're super excited to have you here. I am very excited about tonight's topic, as Robert kind of led in here, why diets don't work. That is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And I won't even get into that. I'm sure maybe we'll lead into that a bit here when we ask Kjersti these powerful questions that we have on board for tonight. So again, I'm just very excited. So a little bit about our guest speaker tonight, Kjersti Cote. The brilliant Kjersti Cote. A little bit about Kjersti is she is the Director of Product Development at Zallevo Labs. She has over 21 years. Kjersti has gained diverse knowledge in nutrition, supplementation, formulation, and manufacturing. She comes from a family with a background of in the nutraceutical science space, formulating and manufacturing as well. So it's in her roots, it's in her blood. Prior to joining Zallevo, Kjersti worked with a billion-dollar company for 17 years, where she contributed to sales and growth and event training. And what else here? Let me see. Sales growth and education. Kjersti is the director. Oh my gosh, did I get all screwed up here, guys? Sorry. Of development at Zallevo Labs. Our Zallevo Labs team consists of highly skilled professionals, PhDs, MDs, DOs, as well as geneticists, molecular biologists, nutritionists. Oh, you guys, lab techs and quality control personnel. That is quite the bio and a tongue twister, if I may add. Kjersti is also an author, speaker, trainer. She has produced more than 3,000 audios, podcasts, and videos, combined educating on human nutrition and science. She has passion for helping others achieve optimal health with no compromise philosophy.
Thank you.
She is a proud mom of 3 incredible adult children, Alexa, Tyler, and Zach, and has an amazing man in her life, Robert. So, folks, sorry for my little slip-ups there, but let's get started. Please listen in and learn why diets and diet culture is failing us. With this call, we hope to shed light and help many discover the simple changes that we can make to focus on our health, and how we can make simple changes, not, trying to juggle all the specifics of so many constrictions and really restrictive lifestyles that diets have kind of put on us, this kind of busting the myth of diet culture. And so with that, we want to, and are hoping to kind of fix that mindset here and really expose the broken model of diet culture that does not serve us. And so with that, Kjersti, hello.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
Hey, good. I didn't tell you that the whole purpose of my introduction was to tongue twist and tie you up.
It is. I should have practiced.
It's a laundry list of teammates that I've got, right? Isn't that just fun? It's so much fun.
Yeah, I gotta memorize that, guys.
You are perfect. You don't have to memorize anything. I think everybody gets it and it's all good. And you did a beautiful job. I am so excited that you get to interview me.
I am so excited. And on this topic, like I said, this is so near and dear to my heart. I can't believe that I have the honor of just discussing this with this amazing group of people tonight, and you.
Thank you. Well, I am excited too, because listen, when it comes to diets, how many people can think back on a diet or two and connect it to negative emotions? I mean, think about it. The psychology of dieting is profound. It is profound. And it's like people buy into a regime, a diet, a specific set of foods and guidelines, and they set forth with hope and expectation of health and well-being and feeling good, and they end up falling off the rails and failing their plan that they set out for. And in many cases, people have no idea why they even actually failed in the first place. And we're here to talk about that tonight for sure. And to really kind of myth bust and to talk about some of the most popular diets that are out there and what's going on, what's going on with these different diets. So I'm ready if you are.
Yes, I'm ready. So can you share with us what is happening in the diet world right now? Like, there's so many diets. How many are there? And well, countless. What's going on with them?
I know. And as a matter of fact, your question is as good as mine, because I have no idea. It could be, it's obviously in the hundreds, various different types of diets. Some diets require specific supplements. Some diets require drugs and pharmaceuticals. Some diets require eating a specific type of food a little here and a little there. It's pacing, it's this, it's that. Just to kind of highlight some of the diets in that are really super popular right now. And let's actually just define diet. A diet is a protocol of eating. That's what a diet is. Really, ultimately, it's a protocol of eating. It's what you're going to be ingesting and drinking on a daily basis. What I would rather us focus on is lifestyle versus dieting. And so when people come into our Zallevo space and they're like, well, what kind of a diet is this? It's not a diet. Thank goodness it's not a diet. It's a protocol. It's a lifestyle protocol. It's not a protocol based on counting calories. And because that's honestly the traditional way of dieting is counting calories. I'll never forget when I was a teenager, one of my aunt's friends, gorgeous body, stunning body, very thin, very lean. And I'm like, wow, she looks so good. I think I was like 13 at the time. I'm like, she looks so good. And she goes, oh, she eats terrible. And I said, well, what is she eating? And she goes, well, she only eats 500 calories a day. And asked me if it was sustaining for this woman. It was not sustaining. She ended up with serious health challenges. But in talking to my aunt, she goes, she limits herself to 500 calories a day. And if that's a piece of cheesecake, then that's where she stops. And if it is a Snickers bar and a bag of chips, then that's where she stops. So she was counting calories, not nutrition and macro components. And so think about it. You've got 500 calories in a big hunk of cheesecake versus 500 calories in 2 Ultra 30 shakes. What's going to deliver most to the body? And so this is why calorie counting isn't necessarily the winner. It's not the winner. You've got something called the OMAD diet. The OMAD diet stands for, it's an acronym for only one meal a day. Only one meal a day. This would be a form of intermittent fasting where they go 23 hours with nothing going into their bodies and 1 hour eating window. That's it. But guess what? You can eat pretty much anything that you want in that 1 hour. It could be a number 5 on the menu through the drive-through. It could be that cheesecake. It could be chicken wings. It could be whatever your spaghetti, pizza. It could be anything. Now, some people that do the OMAD diet, they kind of have some ratios, some differentiating ratios. For instance, if it's, I think, true OMAD, you're looking at a percentage of 20% protein, 75% fats, and 5% carbohydrates, 8 cups of vegetables a day. And I'm thinking, I did the math, guys. I did the math. If you were to follow the OMAD diet and coming in around 12 to 1500 calories, up to 2000, 3000 calories, but let's just say that your focus is 20% proteins, 75% fats, 5% carbs, and 8 cups of vegetables, you have to squeeze that into 1 hour. Guess what this equates to if you are already using Zallevo? 1 shake, 1 full-on boneless, skinless chicken breast, 4 medium avocados, 1.5 teaspoons of MCT oil, and again, the 8 cups of veggies. I don't know about you, but I would be sick, so sick in drinking a shake,
You want to go
eating
to
a
the
chicken
store and
breast,
get anything?
4 avocados, MCT
don't
oil,
have
and 8 cups of vegetables. The whole goal of this diet is to have, it helps with insulin resistance and leading you into insulin sensitivity because you're going a really long time without eating. However, fasting for prolonged periods of time, day in and day out, day in and day out, it's really hard on the body. It's hard on your immune system. It's hard on your digestive system. It's hard on your endocrine system, which are your glands that produce and secrete all of these chemicals called hormones in your body. If you don't have specific nutrients coming into the body at specific times during the day, then those glands are missing out on needed nutrients in order to be up and running, to be able to produce and secrete the hormones in which you're needing. So going back to this OMAD diet, one meal a day, 23 hours no eating, 1 hour of just gluttonous eating. I don't know about you, but it doesn't sound too sustainable, really, if you think about it. Let's move on to the next diet, paleo. Everybody's heard about paleo. Paleo, it's typically a diet that includes tremendous amounts of lean meats, fish, fruits, veggies, nuts. This is a diet where they can eat minimal fruits and vegetables with carbohydrate loads. But it includes dairy products, legumes, grains. They don't necessarily focus too much on cutting the grains out, but they do carb control, but they limit your carbs when it comes to fruits and vegetables. Then there's the keto diet. The keto diet is the ketogenic diet. That's what it's short for. This is an extremely low carb diet, much like the Atkins diet. You avoid bread, potatoes, rice, sweets, all other high carbohydrate foods, which, to be quite honest, should be in little to moderate amounts anyhow, right? So this diet does lend to fat burning. It does lend to insulin resistance and moving the body into more of an insulin sensitive zone. But just like the paleo diet, you're eating a lot of meat. And same with the keto diet, let alone the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet, you're not eating vegetables at all. No grains, no fruits, no legumes, no nuts, no seeds, straight up meat, fish, eggs, and all animal proteins. Some of the side effects to the carnivore diet is insane constipation, because you don't have that added dietary fiber to add mass to help draw moisture and water into stool for good elimination. But it also then can also cause severe diarrhea for some too, because of the protein load and the fat load that you're intaking all day long. The carnivore diet is raving in certain nutritional companies right now. Is it sustainable? Does it provide results? Yes, you'll get results because you're cutting all carbohydrates. You're cutting anything out of the diet except for meat, except for protein. Is it sustainable? It's not. And it's not healthy. Let me explain to you, when you have too much protein that's coming into the body, it makes the body's insides sticky. Has anybody ever accidentally spilt their Ultra 30 shake on the counter? And it dries and it hardens and it solidifies. Why? It's because it's protein. Proteins are very sticky. By nature, they build your body. It's the glue, brick, and mortar that builds the structure of your body, hence it being sticky, right? And it bonds. But we've looked at live blood cell analysis of people that have been on carnivore, paleo, keto, Atkins, high protein diets. And what happens is that your body is made up of a bunch of cells, right? These cells are made up of proteins. And when a single little cell, when it goes to regenerate and off-put a younger cell, and recreate and regenerate a new cell, this one, I guess, papa cell that's making all these new baby cells, this papa cell can turn and produce about on average 14 to 16 cells, and then papa dies off and his offspring of 16 cells that he just replicated and created live on. And guess what they do? They replicate cells, and so on and so forth. So it's a generational replication of cells. So cell replication is critical. This is the renewing of tissue. This is the renewing of the body. This is what allows the body to stay healthy, vibrant, your skin glow, your organs function properly. It's a part of life. But when you eat a high protein diet, when the papa cell is regenerating his new offspring of cells, they don't disconnect. They stick because there's so much protein in the blood. There's so much protein going on in the body because you're loading so much protein into the body that the body is working really hard to try to digest, break down, shuttle this protein to where it needs to go. And the blood literally will get sticky in and of itself. And so the papa cell goes to regenerate a cell, and all of a sudden it's like a slinky. And then there's another generation of a cell, and then there's another. And you can see these cell donuts. It's like a bunch of donuts that are lined up, stuck together. That's not healthy. If blood cells are sticking together, then they should be free floating like little inner tubes in a swimming pool, so that they can escort nutrients, blood, and lots of different things, and flow and travel in the body, not be stuck in mass quantities, stuck together like a slinky. So too much protein isn't good, but not enough protein isn't good either. Then of course you've got vegan, which is all plants, no meat, no animal byproducts whatsoever. So there's a lot out there. Is the vegan lifestyle super beneficial? It can be if you're really, really guarding your protein sources. And in most cases, a lot of vegetarians and vegans, they struggle in this department on getting the quantity of protein that they need on a daily basis because they're reliant on plants to supply it to them. And plants can be very hit or miss in the protein amino acid department. So they've got to be insanely strategic if you're going to live a vegan lifestyle. You've got to really focus on guarding against missing out on specific nutrients and specific proteins. So it's a lot of work to be a vegan for sure.
Absolutely. So what are your thoughts when you talk about all these different, methods or diets, and each one of them kind of has their own unique when it comes to kind of macros, what are your thoughts on simply calorie counting?
Yeah. And you're right, Heidi, because everything that I just mentioned, it's more driven on macros and specifically proteins. Whereas calorie counting, again, it goes back to the cheesecake at 500 calories. How nutritious is one piece of cheesecake at 500 calories versus 2 Ultra 30 shakes, which come in at about, actually less than 500 calories, right? Because they're 239 calories a piece. So really, I don't even care about calories. That's the honest truth. And you shouldn't either, to be honest. If you are eating, yes, if you are eating to feed and nourish your body and to give your body specific proteins, fats, and carbs so it can fuel itself and have energy, as well as build itself with cell replication going on all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, from the time you were conceived to the time you die, cell replication happens, right? And you need specific nutrients and macro components to be able to build and have that structure of your body stay lean, healthy, and happy. And it's about really counting the grams of protein, fats, and carbs that you need based on your lifestyle and your needs, your individual needs, not just counting calories. Again, it goes back to the cheesecake versus 2 Ultra 30 shakes. It's 2 totally different things, but you're at 500 calories per each. How is that cheesecake going to serve the body in comparison to 2 Ultra 30 shakes? So,
100%.
and
do we want cheesecake cells, or do we want Ultra 30 cells?
That's right. So now it's easy. Proteins and carbs, 4 calories a gram. So if you're, it's just like, okay, you eat 10 grams of protein, 40, it's 40 calories, 40 calories. And the same thing goes for fats. Fats is 9 calories per gram. So 10 grams of fat, 90 calories. So fats, 9 calories. Protein, 4 calories, carbohydrates, 4 calories. However, here's the clause on carbs. Fiber fits into the carb category, but fiber only yields 2.5 calories per gram. And that's where you get your netting. That's
right.
How you net. That's how you net carbs, guys. A lot of people don't know that fiber per gram is less calories than carbs, simple carbohydrates per gram. So when you minus out that fiber, because it's a wash, that's where you get your net carbohydrate load. That's a little detail, you know, put it aside if it's too much for you, no worries. But calorie counting is honestly, any nutritionist that is still teaching their clients or their patients how to calorie count, they're seriously, truly missing the boat, because it should be focused on nutrient load and macro load versus calorie counting.
100%. 100%. How does that, or, I mean, what about intermittent fasting?
So, yeah. And, you know, it's interesting because fasting, we all know and love fasting and its benefits. What's interesting is that before Zallevo, for many people, they couldn't actually get through a 24, 48, 72, 60, 80-hour fast, because it just, the specific types of micronutrients that need to ride into the body without disrupting digestion, they were missing, right? Or they were awakening the digestive system by snacking and taking certain things during fasting, when really that really wasn't actual fasting, right? We all know that now. So, but fasting's been around for thousands of years. And what's so interesting is because of modern science and technology, we know what's going on in the body. And so it's highly foundational and beneficial. I'm telling you, it's wild what takes place when you step away from the dinner table and give your body that time to de-junk, reset, remodel, literally go after dysfunctional cells. It's called apoptosis, guys. It's where the body is scavenging for cells that have rogue DNA. And guess what rogue DNA cells are? Cancer cells. So everybody's got cancer cells in their body at some point in time. What's going to dictate if those rogue broken DNA cells replicate is the quality and environment inside your body, and the nutrient load that you've got going on inside your body, the environment that you live in, and what your body is exposed to daily. So it's what you eat, it's what you drink, it's what you're exposing your body to on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, with pollution, toxins. But then there's also the good old genes, the DNA in and of itself that have you set up to win, substantially, or maybe better than others, or maybe not so much in comparison to others, depending upon your genetic disposition. And if your genetic disposition has, if it's a little down, then that, for those individuals, it's even more important to guard against all of the other things that are combating the body with food and drink and environmental pollution, toxicity, these types of things. So that all factors into the equation, but fasting it's incredible. If you're snacking during fasting, you will never hit autophagy. Autophagy is that remodeling and resetting going on in the body. It's where the body scavenges after those rogue cells and literally targets and kills off those rogue cells, breaks down those components, and helps to metabolize and excrete it out of the body, or reuse some of the material too. So it's critical. It's important if it's done correctly. That's the last and final thing I'll say about fasting, is that it's got to be done correctly. There's specific nutrients, as mentioned, that need to ride into the body during this time to sustain you. Can you fast without Zallevo? Well, yes, you can. Are you going to get further? And that's the goal. The further you can get into fasting, and the more you can dive into that autophagy state or phase, the more work and remodeling is going to get done in the body. So you can cut off autophagy at 38 hours because you can't make it beyond that, or you can assist the body so that you can make it beyond that what used to be your threshold, and make it beyond that and move into some deeper states of autophagy. And that's the secret sauce. That's the fountain of youth is autophagy.
Absolutely. That's why we see a lot of people on this call turning back the clock.
Love
because
it.
of that beautiful process. Yes. So are low calorie days the same as fasting? We kind of touched on that. You explained that, but the answer we know is no.
Correct. Yep. You got it. Yep. So low calorie days are not the same as fasting. There's a company out there that just launched a brand new program this last week. And you get 3 doses of 7 different formulations, all for good old $199. Can you imagine? $199 for 3 days worth of product.
What?
That just launched. So let me ask you this. For $200 and 3 days later, their whole point to this system is it's a reset. You're not fasting during this time. You're drastically calorie reducing. You're probably
cleansing?
No, you're intaking about 500 calories total. So they've got certain things going into the body. Those seven products are popping into the body a little here, a little there throughout the day for 3 days in a row. And on the other side of it, you're supposed to go back to whatever you knew before. So that something like that, is it a kick? Could it be a kickstart? Yes. Is it going to ignite ketosis? Yes. Is it sustainable? Absolutely not. Is it affordable? Absolutely not. It's not affordable. But and this goes to show you, if you don't mind, Heidi, I want to kind of dive into, how do you choose the right diet? Like,
Yes.
how is it that one person is going to know what's right for them, what's going to be good in their body, and if it's going to be sustainable, if it's going to be healthy? There are so many diets that exist. It is overwhelming to the majority of the population. And in most cases, a lot of these diets, they exist on fantastic marketing plans. But in the end, are they affordable? No, in most cases not. Even going back to the carnivore diet, protein's expensive, guys, especially if you're eating organic. Think about it. Organic chicken breasts, boneless, skinless, $8 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
And out of a boneless, skinless chicken breast, your body can only use 30% of those grams of protein. The rest you eliminate out of the rear. Because the proteins are so damaged. They're so big, they're so damaged through the cooking process that you can only use, and the body can only extract about 30%. So out of a 30-gram chicken breast, 10 grams your body can use for rebuilding and restructuring and cell regeneration. The other 20 grams, it liquefies, but it comes right back out on the other side. So talk about, more bang for your buck when you're looking at an Ultra 30 shake that's delivering 30 grams of protein and it's 99% utilized in the body, no waste, in comparison to a 65% waste on chicken. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. It's expensive. So here's the other thing to consider too, when you're looking at changing your eating patterns and your lifestyle, because maybe you want to shred, maybe you want to burn fat, maybe you want to lean out, maybe you want to gain lean muscle, maybe you need to gain weight all in all because you're 40 pounds underweight due to illness or some sort of challenge that you've had in your life. And it's important to note that no matter what you choose and what you do, make sure it's backed by science. It's supported by research, and that it's simple, and that it's going to truly make a difference in your body, and that it's going to be a sustainable lifestyle. And that's why Zallevo is just so different. Is it a lifestyle? Could some people call it a diet? Sure, they could. But, diets to me aren't sustainable, historically speaking. And a lot of, again, going back to the psychology of a diet in the very beginning of this call, the psychology of dieting leads people to negative emotions and negative rooted feelings and experiences in past. And so that's why we're just not into dieting. We're not into calorie counting. We're just into feeding the body what it actually needs.
Absolutely. Yeah. That connection, 100% is, deprivation and not being able to sustain. That's, in my mind, that's what the definition of diet is.
Yes.
And that's where it's been such a transformation for me, is Zallevo literally liberated me from that mindset, from that restrictive weighing, measuring, calorie counting, even eating packaged food. I did that one too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, we're not even getting into the sourcing and the ingredients and the purity and the potency and all the beautiful things that, so actually, having said that, why is the Zallevo different?
It is so different. It
I know.
is so different. And I love that it's different. I the main reasons why Zallevo is different and it's changing lives is because it's about body balancing. If you've got to lose weight, it's going to naturally be a byproduct of starting Zallevo. If you are going to want to put on lean muscle, even without changing your exercise regime, you're going to see those gains. This is why we tell people to get a smart scale. The proof is in the pudding. We are not convincing people in the placebo effect that Zallevo is working. It truly works. There's not, at least to my knowledge, one company out there that would be our largest competitor that is encouraging their people to step on a smart scale and to track their BMI and to track their visceral fat and to track their hydration and to track their bone density. We want you to see that, because when you can see the needle move and shift and the body shift and start to become more balanced, in lean mass and reduction of subcutaneous fat or visceral fat, or you can see bone density increasing and becoming healthier, whatever the case, energy, sleeping, whatever the case might be, then that's exciting. And that's what is sustaining. And that's what will keep people emotionally rooted into what they're doing and maintaining that lifestyle. It is a retention factor. And let's face it, if it doesn't work, you're not going to retain your people. You're not going to be here after long if you can't see the results and the proof being in the pudding. The other thing, it's customizable. It doesn't matter if you are 375 pounds and about ready to start your journey on Zallevo, or you're 100-pound cutie patoots that has your own health challenges. It doesn't matter if you're man or you're woman, or you're a 6-year-old or you're a 60-year-old. It doesn't matter. It's totally customizable. It's nutrient rich, with all of the right nutrients stacked accordingly so that your body ignites and lights up. It's backed by scientific research and studies, guys. We use clinical dosing in our formulations. And, it's kind of interesting because people that might not look at modern medicine or pharmaceutical as, a positive for us to say, well, we're using clinical dosing. It's like, oh, okay, well, what does that even mean? Well, it means that if we're studying ashwagandha and there's a specific number of milligrams that's being used that's eliciting some sort of result or response in the body, and we can see that documentation in this double-blind placebo study, you better believe we're going to use that dosing. We're not going to cheat you on that. If we're going to speak to the study, we're going to speak to the dose and make sure that it's locked into your formulation forever. And if there's other evidence that comes forth that would cause us to take a look at maybe enhancing or refining or adding to, we'll do it. And you'll be the first to know when we see those cool things. The other thing about Zallevo, it's natural. There's no junk in it. There's no fillers, artificial colors, artificial flavors. There's no artificial sweeteners, synthesized chemical type basis stuff. It's not extreme. Our systems and our collections, they're not extreme. It's sustainable and it's affordable. When you're taking a look at structuring your day and getting the most bang for your buck, it is so affordable, guys. It fits into any lifestyle and it's safe. It is so safe. You take a look at all of those botanicals. Those botanicals are non-toxic, guys, yet they help and support the body in such incredible ways. It's safe for the whole family. The only product that you need to watch with kiddos if they don't have developed bodies is Fortitude 85. That's the only guidance there, right? And it tastes good. Let's face it, it tastes good. If it tasted like, sawdust, we'd be in trouble. But because you can have the science and then have it not taste good. And then everybody's like, well, I'm out because I would rather go for the cheesecake. So, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, the lifestyle of choking down nasty shakes. Been there, done that too. No.
One of the other things too, I want to share this with you, if I may. I'm going to open up some slides real quick because I want you to take a look at this. Can you all see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me just move this over so I can see it too. I want to start right here and let's go right here. And let me exit out of that one. All right, you can still see that?
Yes.
Okay. Some of the things that I want to point out, because I think that people tend to complicate things, again, because diets can be very complicating. It's like, okay, well, what do we need to do? We need to count this. We need to do that. Honestly, what I would have you do if you're just brand new and just getting started and you really don't even know where you're at with proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, then do a food journal and figure out how many grams are you actually eating of protein a day? How many grams of healthy fats are you actually intaking? And what is your carbohydrate load? But notice that if we're going to count carbs, fats, and proteins, we're not counting calories. I just want to see how many grams are you actually intaking? Does that have a calorie attached to it? It sure does. But I'm not really concerned about that because we're going to build your macros to your mass, to your body mass. So this is where the Zallevo difference comes in. It's super simple. You have one life, one body, and we're driven to seek out the latest to be able to feed you and nourish you. I want you to take a look at just one human cell. Just fancy me on this. How miraculous is that little glob of, it looks like a little city, right? Your body is made up of, that's one type of human cell, by the way. There's about 200 different types of human cells, each of them being their own shape and they look a little different. But in most cases, they have the same type of cell components. I show you this because you can't see this with the naked eye. You have to have a microscope to actually dissect and look into this cell. This is a little engine. This is a living force right here. And everything that comes in contact with your skin that your body soaks in comes in contact with this cell. And you've got little areas in here that are actually, their whole thing is to break down molecules that happen to enter into the cell, these little yellow globulars here, right? Called lysosomes. This is called mitochondria. Now, mitochondria is what produces cell energy. It produces ATP, which is basically like gasoline that keeps the cell up and running and to fuel the engine of the cell. You've got your little nucleus and your DNA that's encapsulated inside of your nucleus. This stuff gets damaged, guys, by chemicals that you're exposed to. And so to think that we're not gigantic sponges where things can penetrate straight up into this cell and cause internal cell damage and cell death, believe it. Your body is made up of 37.2 trillion of those. And so our whole goal here at Zallevo is to feed this little cell, all 37.2 trillion cells. And how do we do it? It's simple. We focus on your gut. We focus on your brain. We focus on combating stress, fasting to access autophagy. We focus on driving hydration in the body. We ignite ketosis, which is that beautiful state of fat burning to lean you out so that cells in your body can function optimally. We help fuel exercise. And of course, we make sure that we're hitting your nutrition and all of your macros, your proteins, fats, and carbs, but also your micronutrients, your minerals, your trace minerals, your vitamins, your antioxidants. We fuel the body with all of that. The cool thing is that there's only 2 types of days. And this is, again, this is how simple it is. Just kind of clear your mind. It does not require a complex, crazy system. This is 2 types of days. You're either feeding and nourishing, drinking shakes, and eating a healthy meal, throughout the day here and there, stacking it out. We help you to customize. Or you're stepping away from the nutrition and you're focusing on fasting and moving your body into that state of fasting, resting from food and digestion so that your body can reset, access autophagy, and go after and scavenge after dysfunctional cells. 2 types of days, that's it. Step 1, calculate your daily protein intake. So this is very dependent. Again, this goes to the individual that is 375 that's got a 200 pounds to lose or 150 pounds to lose versus the little one that's 100 pounds that has weight to gain. It's all based on your activity, your current body weight, and your goals. Are you wanting to gain or lose? Are you wanting to see more lean mass or not, right? And how you calculate your protein is easy. If you have not done this, here's your chance to get the formula. And it's based on your activity level. So you take a look at this chart. Sedentary. These are people that don't work out. They sit a lot behind their desk. Maybe they have physical challenges that keep them from being active, right? Someone who would be wheelchair bound or using a walker, or someone who might be have handicaps. This would be sedentary. Active, you're working out a couple of times a week, right? And then of course there's the weight loss category, which we'll talk about in a second. Then there's the athletic category. This is someone who works out 4 to 5 times a week, and they're looking to kind of maintain their structure, but feel better, feel more energy. And then there's the athlete that wants to gain. This is the grinder in the gym. This is the pro athlete that's just like, give me whatever I can to have that edge. I want to gain lean muscle. So choose your category. And if it's weight loss, then choose weight loss. And then we're going to take a look at your goal weight. Step number 1 is to convert your pounds to kilograms. And we're going to go off of your ideal weight to begin with. So let's say that if let's say that, it's Susie Q and you're at 210 right now, but your ideal goal weight is 160. I weigh 160, right? It's not a bad weight, right? It's a good weight. Ideal weight 160. You want to convert your goal weight of 160 into kilos. And how you do that is you divide it by 2.2. And that equals 72.7 kilos. That's step number 1. It's done. Step number 2, you select your activity level, which you probably already did. And you take the kilograms and you times it by your grams of protein per kilogram of body weight over here. So if you were weight loss, which this is what this is set up for, you can be 1.4 grams of protein to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So you take your 72.7 kilos, times it by 1.4, and it spits out a number. And that is 101.7 grams per day. Now, just drop the 7. Who cares? I'm not into decimals. Round it up, round it down. It's roughly 100 grams of protein per day. This is step 1. This is critical, guys, because again, remember how we talked about putting too much protein into the body makes your blood sticky, your cells sticky. That's not healthy. That's not healthy blood cells. But if you're not getting enough, then you're not having enough brick and mortar and material to go into the body to help rebuild the body and to keep the cell regeneration up and revving and good, healthy tissues, healthy skin, healthy organs. All right. So make sure you calculate that. Step 2, plan your ultra day. You've got your protein intake. Let's say if it's 100 grams of protein a day, that might equate to 2 shakes and a healthy meal, and maybe some almonds at some point in time. I love the Mediterranean lifestyle. So if you want to have some suggestions on healthy recipes, open up that browser, your Google, and search out Mediterranean recipes and Mediterranean lifestyle recipes, and you will find incredible, amazing recipes that are balanced between proteins, fats, carbohydrates. There's a lot of vegetables and fish within this diet, which are very, very healthy and amazing for the body. And then step 3, and this is your last step, is to plan out your burn days. So now you've got your macro, your proteins calculated. And I know we didn't do fats and carbs yet, but you've got your protein figured out. That'll allow you to help structure out your meal, right? Because we just did this, right? Of 2 shakes a day, a meal, maybe it's 1 shake and 2 meals a day. You choose, right? Depending upon what your collection is that you got. And then last, again, and not least, is to plan out your burn days. When people see this graph, they're just like, ooh, this timeline, oh, dang, I have got to make it to 36 hours because autophagy is going to increase by average of 300%. I got to do this. This is cool. I want to live a healthy, active life. That's the autophagy is your secret. So have them take a look at that timeline and then structure the month accordingly based on when they're choosing to fast. One of the questions I get a lot is, well, when should I fast? I just got my collection. Can I just start out fasting? And the answer is you can, but if you really want a really good experience, the advice is to get some ultra days under your belt, get the shakes going into your body, get the Fortitude 85 going into your body, do some prepping in your body. Let's start filling the pools, the vitamin pools in your body up, because maybe they're depleted, your vitamin C, your vitamin B, whatever that is. Flood the body in with some good things so that the body can build and restore and replenish. And then once you've been at that point for a second, could be 5 days, 10 days, it could be 30 days before you even jump into fasting. But once you do, your body is stronger and more equipped and more able to buzz through fasting days, your burn days. You're going to feel more sustained if you do that, and more balanced in moving into fasting after doing ultra days. So you plan it out whenever it works best for you. This is maximum fasting, just FYI. We don't recommend fasting like daily. This is not okay. Your body needs breaks from fasting. It needs to be able to rebuild, recharge, replenish with proteins, fats, carbs, minerals, certain phytonutrients and components that are needed on ultra days, on your feeding days. So don't go too deep into the fasting too often, because it's calorie reduction again, which is the macro component reduction. And we don't want to slow your metabolic rate down, because if you slow your metabolic rate down, that's where a plateau comes into play. And that's where you might stall on results. And we don't want that either. We want to keep the body revving at all times. But guys, it's as simple as that. Step 1, calculate your protein. Step 2, structure your ultra days. And step 3, plan for your burn days. It's not any more complicated than that. And you've got pretty much the only thing that you can't take on burn days is the collagen 300 and the ultra 30, but everything else goes either day. Doesn't matter. And that's it. That's what I wanted to share on those slides, is just, again, it's super simplistic, and don't feel like you need to complicate it out. Customize it with people. Now, the only thing that we didn't talk about are fats and carbs. Your body needs carbohydrates. It does. But at how many grams of carbs? The less active you are and the more sedentary you are, the less fuel you need to put in your body, and carbohydrates are fuels. So think about this. What if you set out on you got into your car and you drove 2 blocks and you went to the gas station and you wanted to put more fuel in your car, but your tank is full? That's a carbohydrate load right there. You're driving only 2 blocks, But you go to the gas station, you want to put fuel into your tank and there's no room because the tank is full. Unlike if you get in your car and you drive 100 miles, you're going to exhaust your fuel and you're going to end up at a gas station and there's going to be plenty of room to fill gas into your gas tank. So it's supply and demand. Fuel goes into the car and the engine burn the fuel to move you down the road. And that is the magic of fuel. Carbohydrates fuel the body in very much the same way. So if you're sedentary and you're only going 2 blocks, not the 100 miles, because maybe you've got physical challenges or you're just not active right now because of your work schedule or whatever, or maybe it's just structuring your day better, right? Getting exercise in, setting aside time for yourself. The busier you are and the more active you are, the more that your body can utilize carbohydrates better. And if you don't actively move your body in your carb loading, guess what's going to happen? That the carbohydrates are going to move into the muscle, hoping that you do move your body to be able to provide energy. And if you don't, the carbs will convert into fat. The body does a miraculous job at taking that stored sugar in your muscle that does not get burned, converting it into fatty lipids and storing it into your fat cells. And therefore, you're taking away the opportunity to burn fat and have a lean body. So now let's take on the other opposite end of the spectrum. Paul Smith is on right now tonight. Insane endurance athlete, incredible endurance athlete. This dude can fast 5 days. He's a master faster. He knows how to run his body, and he's got a champion, refined, fueled body. Paul, he can absolutely afford more fats and more carbohydrates to fuel his body than a sedentary person, because he's putting such high demand on his body that he can burn the fuel. He's constantly revving with his engine, with his body. So that's an example. So where to begin with your fats and your carbs, because fats and carbs are both fuels. They're just different types of fuels, is you're going to want to see where you're coming in at right now. I'm just curious. Just take the next 5 days and eat what you normally do and food journal and write it down. And you might surprise yourself that, man, you're like ingesting 200 grams of carbohydrates in a one day, because you're not shying away from bread or rice or pasta or, things that are laden with a little bit of sugar here or a lot of sugar there. So just kind of watch it and see what's going on and track it. And note that if it's too high, then let's drop it down. Let's lower your carbohydrate load. If your fats are super, super low, believe it or not, in order to burn healthy fat, you got to eat healthy fat. So if your fat consumption is low, that's not actually helping out your body to burn its own subcutaneous fat or visceral fat. Healthy fats are essential. They drive down inflammatory response in the body. And if you drop inflammatory response in the body, your body can actually utilize nutrients better. So healthy fats are critical. Healthy fats are also important for testosterone production, estrogen production, progesterone production, thyroid production. They're critical. So track your fats. How many grams are you normally eating? Like if you're putting olive oil on that salad, well, how many tablespoons? Let's track it. If you're sauteing with olive oil in a pan with veggies or maybe salmon, you're baking some salmon. How many grams of fat are in an Alaskan fillet of salmon that's 8 ounces, right? So track it. It kind of seems tedious, but I'm going to tell you, if you want to live a life that's filled with zest and vibrance and health, and you want that longevity factor, you've got to just take a second and figure it out and supply the body what it's demanding. And if you don't want to take the time, like many, and then it's like shooting in the dark. You don't know what's really impacting you or not. And this is about refinement and seeing what feels good in the body too. Now, one last tip on the fats and the carbs. when you are, and proteins, fats, carbs, we calculated your proteins. If you calculated your protein tonight and your protein intake was 100 grams, just as an example, and you go to count your protein over the next 5 days, and you find that you're only ingesting 50 grams of protein. If you were to go from 50 grams of what your digestive system is normally used to intaking, and you just all of a sudden overnight bump it to 100, I can guarantee you your stomach is not going to be happy. So ease up, increase your protein slowly over the course of 7 to 14 days. Just bump up a gram or two, 5 grams, 10 grams here and there, and just kind of slowly increase your protein to where you need to be. If your fats are low, increase slowly on your fats, or else you might upset your tummy. Your gallbladder might freak out a bit because your gallbladder is responsible when fat comes into the body. And then same with carbohydrates. If you're carb loading too much and all of a sudden you shut those carbs down, your body is used to carb intake a lot. So there's going to be an imbalance of blood sugar and insulin usage, and you could find yourself with super low blood sugar and crashing out. So slowly bring your carb load down day at a time over 7 to 14 days and make that transition slow. This is no laughing matter. In the meantime, pop the biome sinks into your body, pop Fortitude 85 into your body. If you love the trio, which is the burn mode, E-Vibe, and collagen 300, then do that every single day mid-morning and have it as your delight, your morning delight. There's a lot of different ways in which you can implement these formulations into your body to just drench your body with all of the powerful nutrients that are within each formulation. And as good as everything is, oh man, if you knew what we were working on in the lab right now, you would just die because it's so much fun. I'm just so excited. To say that we're busy right now is a complete understatement. I'm telling you, it's 1 week. I look at my weekday of 5 business days, right? And I'm like, by Friday, I'm like, by Tuesday, I'm like, I don't have enough time in this week to get everything done that we need to get done. It is insane. And our teams are running hard with us right now. It's amazing. So the only thing I will say is just be patient, because when you're building masterpieces like this, it takes time and there's a lot of science that is involved. There's a lot of meticulous care that goes into these. And so, but we're building your master puzzle is what we're doing. And right now you've got 10 pieces to your puzzle, and we're creating more puzzle pieces to interlock into that master puzzle. And that's the way that you can really look at Zallevo, is that we're moving to complete that puzzle. And I'm not saying that we're going to be completing it, relatively soon. This is an evolution. But one thing is you're not going to have 100-piece master puzzle. That's the good news. No 100 products.
Grateful for that.
Right. We don't need that, but yeah. Any thoughts, any questions that people may have?
Let's see here, Robert.
I had a question in the chat. Can you see it, Kjersti?
Let's see. Let me scroll down. Let's see. If someone who struggles with blood sugar challenges is finding their blood sugar dropping a bit too much at certain stages of autophagy or fasting, is it mainly tied to training their bodies to become more efficient or to efficiently burn fat and ketones? It is. So ketosis, being the fat burning component, is a completely different process in the body than autophagy. So ketosis is where the body uses stored lipids or stored fats, extracts those stored fats out of your fat cells and runs them through the liver and uses that fat for fuel. And that will happen if you lower your carbohydrates. Then ketosis steps up, because carbs aren't coming in. Carbs are really easy peasy fuel. I mean, they're lightning speed fuel. Fats If your carbs drop, your body's like, okay, I'm coming to the rescue. We're going to cleave out some lipids and some fats out of your fat cell, run it through the liver, and convert this into energy for the body and to feed and nourish the cells for fuel for energy. And that's what ketosis is. Now, autophagy is a completely different thing. Now, you can be in ketosis and autophagy at the exact same time. You can be in ketosis, but not in autophagy, because again, that's a special phase that you've got to ask for. You have to put your body into this space in order to allow the body to move into this great work that takes place. So you can run simultaneously on both, but they're two totally different things. And going back to the low blood sugar, anytime that someone has blood sugar issues, if they are insulin resistant and they haven't been utilizing insulin properly in their body, which is a master hormone, when you change any lifestyle, then, and you're changing macro components, calorie components, nutrient components, then the body is having to like adjust. And during that adjustment phase, they can find themselves in low blood sugar. And so in that case, keep an Ultra 30 on hand. Put 2 scoops in a vessel and in a dry shaker vessel, screw that lid on tight, and you can add water at any given time into that shaker vessel and shake it and drink it. And they can break their fast at any given time. And if they can only make it to, let's say, hour 36 or whatever hour they're hitting and they're finding that drop, just tell them to keep practicing and to mark their hours, because one day they will be able to go beyond that threshold of whatever their drop point is. They can keep an apple on hand, but you got to be careful, because you don't want to feed into the battle that they're trying to combat, and that in them wanting to help with the insulin resistance and move into that insulin sensitivity state, which will help with that.
And that was the main question. Thank you. Is that, so in essence, we're helping them train, as all of us, not just anybody with blood sugar challenge, all of us, we're helping to, especially in that case, helping them to train their body bit by bit into burning ketones / fat. That's the,
yes.
Okay.
But now in the meantime, because there's people that are very black and white out there, they're like, oh, no, you can't just hang in there, low blood sugar. I'm telling you, you might wind up in the hospital. You gotta teach people to listen to their bodies. You can't be so stringent and strict that it's just like you're boxing them in the corner and they begin and they have a low blood sugar issue. Stop it right away and just move straight back into ultra days. And teach them to listen to their body. If they feel that blood sugar is coming down, or they feel other things happening into their body, if they're just getting started and they don't know what they're doing and they don't even know what a macro is, hold their hand for a second. Just hold their hand for a second, run them through their guide and show them how simplistic this is, help them calculate their proteins and have them track fats and carbs and see where they're coming in at, make adjustments accordingly. And the rest is history. It takes a very short window of time to actually allow the body for adjustment, but yeah, very cool.
One of the other questions we had in here, Kjersti, was what if someone doesn't have a gallbladder?
Yeah, typically they have to watch their fat consumption. And in that case, the Ultra 30 is beautiful. It's got 9 grams of healthy fats, but it's certainly not 25, 30 grams. You know, I mean, some of the keto foods out there that you're talking about, they have 15 to 20 grams of fat per serving. And in one sitting, ingesting that much fat for someone who does not have a gallbladder might be a little bit straining on their digestive system. The other thing is that if you do not have a gallbladder, you desperately need digestive enzymes, and one that has hydrochloric acid in it. So if you have any issues finding that, you're going to be able to find it. Just digestive enzymes with a hydrochloric acid in it that will help with the breakdown of lipids in the body. You can also get one that has ox bile in it, and ox bile is fabulous to be able to take care of the bile that is not being produced in efficiency in the body. So you can find one that has that as well.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
I think with all the questions, we can really just determine that this is, truly a wellness product. All of our formulations and the details that go into them, it doesn't matter. Just my journey and every single person I've, had the pleasure of, kind of linking arms with Zallevo and these formulations is it doesn't matter where you are. And I constantly use the example of my 3-year-old who loves her black or pink shakes, to my 84-year-old, father who has some health challenges. And it is truly not only well, like you've said before too, it unlocks the absolute, incredible power of the body.
Yes.
And something that is this pure and this beautiful, you get it in and it just does what it needs to do as unique to every individual that is receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think we can completely break away from any kind of, diet culture or restrictions. The label wholeheartedly taught me how to break free from that
Mm-hmm.
and to fuel my body. Just that simple little slide you showed, that was burn days and fuel days. And I
Yes.
approached my first couple burns and I was like, nope, I'm out at 8 hours. I'm out at 12 hours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
through that process of kind of slowly, stair by stair climbing, the ladder, I have been able to complete up to, a 60-hour fast. And there are times where I'm like, nope, my body isn't, ready for it. If I miss a couple shakes in a day, it's like, there's no way I'm fasting because I'm not fueled in order to have a successful, sustainable fast. And that's the beauty of this here, is that we unlock the ability to listen to our bodies and to break that mindset of the restrictions.
Yes. I also too, I love everything you just said. I want to just kind of re-emphasize that there's no wrong way to proceed with Zallevo, except for that does not include putting the formulations into your body.
You just got to take
You got to put them in. You just, if you, I forgot. Well, okay. Don't expect this and that we've been promised with these clinical studies that are backing the biomes, that are backing Fortitude 85, that are backing the E-Vibe and the Ultra 30s. So, and the Collagen 300, for crying out loud, right? You've got to take it daily. You have to take these things daily. And it is the supply and demand. It's the gasoline in the car. You wouldn't dare, set out on a road trip without stopping at the gas station to refuel, to make sure that your fuels are well stocked. There's one other thing I want to make mention, and that is that in talking with Jill about this a couple of weeks ago, and just the need to make sure that we're emphasizing the simplicity, that it's two kinds of days, guys. You're either fasting or you're fueling. That she has a beautiful woman in her team that just came on board that's just going crazy, building her business like crazy. And they came up with 3 phases. And those phases are called foundation, optimize, and accelerate. And to be honest, they're genius. So foundation is 4 products. They're doing the trio, which is Burn Mode, E-Vibe, and Collagen 300 in the morning, right after they have a shake. So you have 1 shake and you do your trio, and that's it. And you do that for 1 week. Second week is optimize phase. You're doing your shake, then your trio, but you're introducing your biomes, both daily and trim, at night before bed. The third week is what they call accelerate. This is, again, shake in the morning, trio in mid-morning or even afternoon, and biomes at night, and then Fortitude 85 introduced in the mornings. And I thought it was genius, because think about it. They get their ultimate collection. They open up the box. They've got all of these products. They're so excited. They're going to be chomping at the, it's not chomping, it's champing at the bit. I just learned that. That's a trivia. They're going to be champing at the bit to get into the Fortitude 85, but it doesn't even come till the beginning of week 3. And so you're kind of doing a takeaway. People may not be able to withstand not taking the Fortitude 85. They might dip into it sooner, but regardless, I love it because it breaks it down, eases things into the body. And it could be that they find specific results when introducing certain things after they've gotten foundational things going on into the body. So you can try that too. It's really whatever works and whatever feels good to you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then that way too, as you're incrementally kind of introducing them, the effects of one versus the other, but
That's right. Yeah.
all right. I don't think we have
So
any other.
collagen before food, yes. 30 to 45 minutes before or 2 hours after a meal is when optimally you would want to take collagen 300. So I have a shake and then, 2 hours later, I mix up my trio and drink that between then and lunch. Yes.
And Kjersti, is there any like strict time frame that you should consume it?
No,
Within-
no. As a matter of fact, it's funny because my guy, Bob, he drinks his collagen at night. He's just like, we'll be in bed and he'll fly up out of bed and he'll be like, I forgot my collagen. And he goes down and whips it up in 8 ounces, slugs it and goes to bed. So it's just getting it in. I mean, as long as it's away from food, that's the ticket.
But 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour, you're good.
Yeah. 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes after, or excuse me, before you eat is perfect if you're going to take it before meals. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody
Other
else? Any other
questions?
questions?
This was
Kjersti?
amazing, you guys. Oh, go ahead, Andy. Were you saying something, hon?
Hi, Kjersti. Thanks so much for this information. I just love hearing you speak. You said what you do, though, is your shake first, and then you follow with the trifecta mid-morning, mid to late morning. I do it opposite. Is there a reason to change? I typically do it early in the morning, especially if I'm going to the gym, is my trifecta, and then I kind of reward myself with the shake.
Love it. That's
Is that
I don't,
the
and
right
yes,
way? Okay.
as a matter of fact, that is the perfect way to do it. Because I don't work out at night, or I don't work out in the morning. I work out in the evening, like between 5 and 6, 6 and 7, something like that. It's post work for me. But really your body is wanting a workout in the morning. It's the way that God designed our bodies. So, as a matter of fact, based on the circadian rhythm of the sunrise and sunset, this is science. This is science right here. Is that your liver stores glucose, stores sugar. It's called glycogen. And at about 4 a.m., sweet little liver secretes glycogen into your blood, which causes your pancreas to awaken to produce a little bump of insulin. And the insulin will drive that blood sugar into the muscle, and it preps your muscle for you to arise at sunrise. It's fascinating. So here you've got the liver that's like, all right, I'm going to go to work. Out comes the sugar. The pancreas produces the insulin that drives the sugar into the muscle. So now your muscles are primed. They're primed. The alarm goes off. You wake up and you've got instant fuel already preloaded into your muscle. That's a miracle. That is a miracle. So when they say get up and go straight to the gym, or go and hit your walk in the morning and go look at the sunrise and get that's a whole nother topic, by the way, sunrises in the morning. But when you set outside of your house and exercise, then you are fueled and your body will love it.
What are you doing?
And so if you wanted to do the trifecta as soon as you wake up, or you want to take your trifecta to the gym, you can totally do that, because it's not like it's loading with carbohydrates, and you've got tripeptides going to the body too. That's great for the body. So you can do that. And then as soon as you get back to the house and your body temperature is back down to normal and you're not sweating anymore, all of a sudden your digestive system opens to receive nutrients, which are your proteins, fats, and carbs, minerals, trace minerals, phytonutrients, antioxidants, vitamins, all of that. It opens its doors wide. It's like, gimme, 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 gimme. So the best time to do a protein shake or an Ultra 30 shake is going to be post-workout, but you can have it at any time, at any meal. But if you really want to have that edge, then post-workout for sure. And if your drive home from your workout facility to home is long, like an hour commute or something like that, then make sure you're taking that dry vessel, putting 1 or 2 scoops, whatever your dose is, into a dry vessel, and then just add a bottle of water to it and shake it, and you can just drink it going home. And that way you don't lose the window, because the window will close. If the body opens wide to receive nutrients after a workout and you do not feed it, that closes down. It's a survival technique. So you want
How
to
long?
it's about an hour. It's about an hour post workout that you've got that 1 hour window. That's also scientific as well. So yeah,
Great. Thank you.
you bet.
Beautiful. Well, if no one else has any other questions, I think we can wrap it up for the evening. And I hope this was
I have a
super helpful
question.
for everyone.
Okay.
What was that?
We'll take one more, Carol.
Okay. On the collagen, is there a way for us during our autophagy days to still utilize our collagen and not go 2 or 3 days without it? Because that stuff's amazing.
Yeah. And you know what? Don't worry about that. Because what you don't want to do is bring those peptides in, because there's quite a bit of peptide in your collagen 300, and we just don't want anything that's going to risk taking you out of that autophagy state. Now, until science proves otherwise, the guideline is to make sure you're reserving your collagen 300 for ultra days and omitting on burn days. Is it, there would be people that are thinking like, oh, well, what if I'm fasting for 3 days or 2 days? I love it so much. Is my results going to drop? And the answer is no. With our specific collagen, now, if you're hitting and missing, if you're missing servings a lot, you're in trouble. But if you're consistent and the only time in which you're going without your collagen 300 is on fast days, perfect. It's totally fine, because based on a 12-week study with our specific collagen, small molecule collagen, the retention time of results went well beyond 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well beyond 2 weeks.
I had been like taking it, doing my collagen at night right before I started my fast, and then going, and then when I'd stop the fast, do it right after that, so that
Yeah.
I wasn't missing, but also wasn't messing up the autophagy, because that's
Yeah.
important. So, okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Love it. Yep. You're going to be fine. If you daily dose, to take a break for 2 days is perfect, because you need to clean up at that point anyhow, so it'll be great.
Are we good?
We're
Great
good.
call, guys.
Good. That's awesome.
How about-
I hope
How about a
everybody
round of applause for,
found value in our call tonight.
yeah, let's show some love to Kjersti and Heidi, please, guys.
Woohoo. I know we ran
Good
long,
job.
but hopefully you guys got some good stuff out of tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
Knowledge.
It was great. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Knowledge is empowering you to make better choices and decisions, and to help others on their journey too. If you need 3-way calls or one-on-ones with myself, Dr. Harper, Dr. Messina, you can go to zallevo.info and click on the Zallevo Labs icon and schedule a call. If you have issues, make sure you reach out to me so that we can assist, because sometimes Calendly, that's what books it for you, is Calendly. Sometimes it's down and we don't understand why. So Let us know if you have any issues whatsoever. Messina is not on the website as of yet due to just honoring other contracts at the time, but that's soon to change, like within the next couple of weeks. But if you want Messina on a call, then just reach out to me on social media or through Calendly, and I will help to orchestrate in getting Messina set for you in having a one-on-one or with someone who has health challenges that you really feel you need one of our advisors to be on that call to answer questions. So.
Amazing.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Kjersti. Heidi,
Yes,
you,
thank you,
you
Kjersti.
always do a great job. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
Yeah, and it's about
My
being
pleasure.
perfectly imperfect, Miss Heidi. How many of us have?
Hey, that's me, guys.
It's all good. Just a couple of announcements real quick in closing. Let's go ahead and stop the recording, guys. 1 second, please.